Believe it or not, the answer to all of your money problems is not to make more money.
Hi, this is Arthur Carmazzi, best-selling author and currently ranked as one of the world's top 10 thought leaders in organizational culture and leadership. And welcome to the Experts MBA. Today we have an amazing guest here at the Experts MBA. We have Christina Wise, serial entrepreneur. She has literally, one of the statements she said earlier this week was, I have more money than I can ever spend, and so now I am going into helping other people to develop their wealth as well. And she is now one of the US's top money coaches. And she is going to give us some insights on, well, basically money and what it all means and how we can be more successful. So, Christina, how you doing?
I'm just so excited to be here, and it's just really an honor to have this conversation with you and with your followers and listeners.
Well, it is an honor to have you here, Christina, and we are excited to hear what you've got to say. So tell us a little bit, okay, what's the whole thing about money and wealth? Give us the skinny on this.
Well, the biggest skinny is that everything we've been taught about money is wrong. So we're playing a game that can't be won, and we keep trying harder and working harder and doing harder and forcing more, and then we wake up and what I call we're on the hamster wheel. And it's this hamster wheel of like, holy cow, I thought at this stage of my life I'd be farther along, or I'd have more money, I wouldn't have all these money problems still. And so we just go try working harder to model that's designed to cause us to fail.
Wow. Okay. Because I've been with that model as well, and and sometimes you start thinking, oh my gosh, maybe I'm doing something wrong, and you're looking for all these answers, and then you try the next shiny thing, and then you spend money on the next shiny thing, and it doesn't work, and then you think, oh my gosh, I wasted my money. And then you're constantly trying to move forward and do all these different things. And so what is the answer?
Well, there's one missing piece that's not being talked about, and it's the piece that like if you're missing a puzzle piece, you can't put the puzzle together. Like it's missing a piece, like there's
Makes
a
sense.
hole. So the one piece of money, which is the answer to all your money problems, is fully missing in every single conversation and information out there.
Well, I'm excited to find out what that is.
Yeah, so there's these two different pieces that when we think about money, we think about one, it's the earning game. If I earn more money, all the answers, if I'm a great earner, I don't ever have to worry about money because I can just go make more of it. So that's what's being taught is how to make more, how to be a better business person. And with business, if we're a business person, we have a business set of books. We know what revenue is. We know what cost of sales is. We know what gross profit is. We know what expenses is. And at the end of the day, we're looking at profit. So no profit, no business. And so that's kind of the earning game. And the business game is we're working really hard and learning to be better at the business game so that we can earn profit. But now what do we do with the profit? So now there's this huge gap, and people go over here to think this investment thing. So people come to me and say, where should I invest my money? Stocks or bonds or real estate? And so, but they're going from earning to investment, and they're misunderstanding that where we get rich, how we build wealth, the surplus we have has very little to do with earning and little to do with investing. It's this middle piece that's missing.
Oh, okay, I'm excited.
You're excited?
What's the middle piece? What's the middle piece?
That's how we spend. So you want to know how to get rich?
Yeah.
Spend less than you make.
Yeah, I guess that makes. Well, in some countries though, there's not really the ease of credit. Okay, so in that case, you just spend all that you make. And then of course, a lot of countries now, we've got the credit cards, we've got all this stuff that's going on, and people get into debt. So that makes sense.
Well, we get into debt when we don't understand the game and how it's played and how it can be won. So you can't win the money game if you have debt. Mm-hmm. So it's impossible to win because it's a rigged system. So the banks are designed to lend you money so they get the return on the investment. So they're your banker. What I want to teach is you become your own banker. So versus giving the banks your money to invest and make the return, we keep our money and we invest it in ourselves, our business, our lifestyle, our livelihood, and we become our own banker. So we're investing in our own lives, and we're not making the banks rich, we're making ourselves rich. But that's only this concept of what I teach you become your own banker. You don't let your banker become your banker. And debt and credit's built into that. Like there's a credit side on the business that can be very prudent and smart, but credit for your personal life isn't smart. So they're very distinct and different. But the thing is what I like to teach is the concept is in the business game. Like I said, we have to understand some business finance, and the game is profit. Now, what I teach is how we get rich is in our households, not in our business. We don't get rich in our business. We earn money through our businesses, but we don't get rich in our businesses. We get rich when we treat our household as a business. So our household finance becomes just as important as business finance, because every real business person knows if they're not paying attention to their money in their business, they're not going to have a profit. It's exactly the same when we move the money from our business into our household. The profit we move into our household, that needs to become a business of profit. So that profit we make in our household finance as a business, that's the money then we move in this investment category and the whole money game. So I'm going to teach you the whole game of money, how to win it. Would you like to know?
I would love to know. So that sounds very exciting.
So if I ask people all the time, I said, how do you win the money game? Any answer, like how you win the money game?
Spend less than you make.
That's the rule. But the answer is, why would you spend less than you make? We spend less than we make because to win the money game. Because here's the thing, the money game is we work for a living, right?
Right.
So we're here, we're working hard, we're making earning. Everyone listening, you're working hard, you're listening to these programs, you're trying to gain information. Why? To make more money. And so that's what we're doing. We're working really hard. We're using our bodies. We're here with each other versus on the beach, laying out, soaking in the sunshine. So that's the thing, but we have to work hard. There's a period of our life where we work hard, we master our craft, we become better at business, we become better at earning, and we work really hard at that. And what do? Do we have to sacrifice a lot when we're working hard?
No.
Well, I mean, there's...
Not really. Well, I don't know.
Not in a bad way, but I mean in a way like, is it time away from our family?
Yes, it is time away from
Is it time away from maybe other education and study?
Well, but isn't education and studying also part of building your business?
It can be, but I just mean that when we're here, when we're working hard, there is compromise and sacrifice, right?
Okay.
That what if you had a trust fund and you didn't have to work for your money?
I'd be bored.
You would be bored. We'd all be bored. But I'm just saying, but would it change things, the idea even of your work, that you did it because the pure love of it, not because of the have to
absolutely.
of it?
Absolutely.
Meaning you may just adjust the way you spend your time a little bit.
Right.
So that's what freedom is. Meaning the financial freedom is the sense that it's not saying, I'd be bored in 2 seconds if I wasn't doing my work and passion.
Yeah.
But I can do it because I actually really want to, not because I have to in any means. That's what financial freedom is. And the only way to get to financial freedom, which is what I think is true business and self-actualization when we're in our work, because it's the true purpose and love of it, with no have to attached to it. So how do we get there? Well, I call it the trust fund. So we all have this idea. Who knows a trust fund person? I didn't get that gift, right? But I know trust fund, and they do whatever the hell they want to on a day-to-day basis. Why? Because the money from the trust fund pays all their bills, meaning they don't have to go work hard and go earn the money to pay the bills. The trust fund pays the bills. And some trust fund babies turn that money into greater, bigger, better, and some just live off of that lifestyle. And there's no judgment either way. You can just see that they don't have to go to work to pay the bills. What they choose to do with their time may be radically different, but they don't have to. So that's how we win the money game. The money game is that when we become our own banker, and household finance is just as important business finance, and we're looking at making profit through our household so that we can move it to the other side of the game board, which is in this investment category. It's the whole game is to accumulate assets through building businesses, other assets, other ventures, whatever it is.
Or even knowledge.
Knowledge too. Anything that produces a cash return, because what do you use to pay your bills? So we can go work hard to pay our bills, or trust fund babies don't have to work hard to pay their bills because the bill's already paid for. So that's how we win the money game, is we're moving money out of our business profit into our household finance. We use that profit to start accumulating assets that will eventually throw off the cash flow that covers the cost to pay the bills of our lifestyle, so that we don't have to work if we don't want to pay the bills. So it's moving from where the cash flow, the income comes from the assets throwing off to pay the bills versus our hard work producing the cash flow. And then once we get to that place, we've won the game, we can continue to do the same work, but it changes everything when we get to the place. So, but that's how we win the money game. But there's these different components and pieces that we have to build and put into place for that to be a reality.
Brilliant. So what would these pieces be?
Well, the pieces is that, number one, we need to understand there's 3 categories of money: earn, spend, and invest. And we have to understand that household finance is just as important as business finance. And if we don't master the money game and the financial game in our business, we're not going to have profit. Meaning you have to look at your books and be a business. And whether you like money or not, if you're a business owner, you have to understand your P&L, you have to understand your balance sheet, you have to look at some cash flow statements, and that whether you like it or not, that's the responsibility of being a business owner if you're banking on the profit.
Okay, just one thing, okay? So most of our audience, okay, they're all coaches, they're trainers, they're consultants. So in that realm, I mean, what would you, how would you apply that?
Well, that's just it, is that all of you are business owners. If you're in the coaching experts business, you are a business owner, meaning you're not going to a job somewhere where you're being managed and you're getting a consistent income every 2 weeks by going to do that job. You're building your own business through your expertise, through selling your knowledge, through selling your expertise, through working with Arthur and building the business components is the machine that if you're not good at marketing, you're coming to Arthur to help you fix, kind of help you with that one piece of marketing so that the machine will. If you're not good at marketing, it's hard to make money in a business, which means you wouldn't have profit.
Right.
So that's where your work is so important, to help others fix this one piece of business that you have to fix. For it to throw off profit. Because if you're doing business really well, but you're not getting your message out because nobody knows you're there, you're not going to make profit.
That's right. And well, sometimes a lot of the coaches, trainers, consultants, what they do is they kind of merge their business income with their household income.
Exactly, and they're very distinct, and that's a big part of it. Is business finance is business finance, and household finance is household finance, and you have to be able to. They're very distinct because how much money you have in your business is what you have to operate your business, and how much money you have in your household is how much you have to operate your household.
Got it.
Very distinct, and that's why you're very intentionally knowing you're moving from one to the other so that it will work a certain way. But the machine, there's your profit and loss, for example, is if you're an expert or in the coaching business, your revenue probably comes from selling coaching programs, for example. Your cost of sale would be maybe the cost that associated with every one of those sales. So let's say that you sell a coaching program and you're including a piece of software that costs $500 for every program. So that's $500. That would be the cost to sell. What you have left over is gross profit, and then you have to manage your expenses so that you have profit. That's a P&L. It's business 101, business finance 101, and if we're going to be in business, we have to get really good at not only do we have to get good at marketing, we have to get good at the P&L. So we have to get good at the money piece and not just the marketing piece.
Right. Math is important.
Math is important, and it's not hard. It's actually very easy for the size of our businesses. It might get complicated, in big business finance, but for us as small business owners and entrepreneurs and experts and coaches, the finance is actually really easy, luckily. And then but you have to have those financial statements, and just the same thing in your household. You have to have your financial statements and the machine at work and know how your money's working in a way that will enable you to achieve your money goals and win at the money game.
Okay, and that was the last one you said. Okay, so that was 2, 3, and the third one.
And let's see. So the third one is just understand that the only way to win the money game is to spend less than you make.
Got it.
And you have to build your assets and kind of accumulate on the other hand. So care less about how much you earn and care more about how much you invest.
Okay, so basically, if I make some money, I invest it in either developing myself or developing something that is going to essentially make me more money. Okay, and that can be it could be getting maybe I take some money and I actually could get into debt to maybe buy some property that would actually return. Is that reasonable?
Yeah, and that's it.
Because it returns more.
It's leveraged. It's a leveraged return.
Right.
So that's different than just debt that has no leverage, which means there can be no growth attached to it. But Yes, it's just understanding that we can invest in knowledge, and there's a return in investing in knowledge, of course, but that's not the type of asset that I'm talking about. Knowledge, it's when we can turn that asset into residual cash flow.
Actual cash, okay.
So when we're in the investing game and we're working across the board, we're taking a portion of our household profit to invest in assets. An asset, my definition of an asset is something that produces cash flow.
Okay.
So our car is not an asset unless we are using our car to make money.
Like Uber.
Like Uber. Or let's say there's, for example, in the States right now, there's this company called Turo. So I can actually put, it's an Airbnb for cars. So I can put my car up on Turo, and my car that right now isn't an asset can become an asset because people are renting it out, and I'm making cash flow.
Really?
So even my house in the States, while I'm here in Bali with you, my house at home is being Airbnb'd. So even though my house wouldn't normally be an asset because I live in it and I don't make cash flow out of it, my intention that even in my household residence becomes an asset because it's making me cash flow.
Nice.
So it's just this idea, when we understand we're working to create this engine that will build all this residual cash flow, hence passive income. But I don't like the word passive income because we have a connotation to that thinks off. But it's residual cash flow, meaning those assets are, I'm sitting here making money while I'm in Bali.
Right.
Whether or not I'm at home working or not. And that's residual income that's thrown off from the asset accumulation. And that's the distinct difference.
Okay, so for example, like some of the stuff that we do is we actually create automated systems where people are making money regardless of when they're, because they only need to do the work once and then they do it. So that would be a good investment too.
And that's an investment in your business.
Yeah.
So there's investments in all these categories, but yeah, we majorly make investments in our business, and sometimes we take on leverage debt for our business. And if we can make some of those residual, cut the costs so that there's more profit. Awesome. But it's just to understand, to win the money game of life personally, it's outside of the business. It's over here, and it's a totally different category.
Got it.
And our business may be a part of our balance sheet portfolio, but it shouldn't be our entire balance sheet, meaning all of our net worth, if it's tied to our business, that's very risky.
That makes sense. Wow, that's brilliant. Okay, so what is one last piece of advice that you can give our listeners that, is going to profoundly change something in their lives or their businesses?
The reason why I teach what I teach now is because there's this big fear. Money's a mystery. And there's this big fear over money. And usually we have all this baggage that comes from our past with money. So it's very charged and emotional, and we feel it's mysterious and we can't figure it out. We just keep trying harder. So all I like to conclude with is that I want to inspire people that money is a very fun game. It's totally winnable. It's something that once we learn, it can radically change our lives. And anybody can master it. It's actually really easy. So I want to turn the mystery to mastery, and that when we can really master this money game, it has a huge, enormous impact over the overall quality of our life. It's not the answer. Money's not attached to happiness, but it's a big component of mastery of life. Excellent. Brilliant. So you also, I know that you also use your house, which is like this super amazing castle where she's got all sorts of really cool stuff. She also uses her house, you use your house to do retreats also in Austin, Texas. Is that right? I'm in Austin, Texas.
Austin, Texas. So if you want to, if our listeners want to learn more and go through your workshops and really, really master the money game, how would they be able to find out more about you?
Well, I would love to share with your audience. The great place to start, even to learn about me and my work, if it may be valuable to you, is to read my book, and I have a free download for you. If you go fallingformoney.com, you can get a free digital download of my book. It's a great place to start. You have plenty of access to me at that point, and I have all sorts of ways. I have workshops, I have online programs, I do podcasts and different things. So
fantastic.
Whatever may be
Falling
valuable. Yes,
fallingformoney.com. Awesome. Okay, well.
You're so cute.
Okay, so Christina, thank you so much for coming, and I hope you guys got as much out of it as I did. And this is Arthur Carmazzi and
Christina Wise,
wishing you great success.